SURFCENTER Limited is known for affordable housing with the best quality. In Abuja, SURFCENTER has ongoing projects in Apo, Wumba, Orozo, and Gwarimpa respectively. And in Lagos, there's a project by Chevron in Lekki. Mr. Fola Babatunde was a young Nigerian living in the UK in the early 90s, and he started a real estate company called Grosvenor. The success of Grosvenor quickly paved the way for the company to be part of the refugee arrival projects. Looking at the challenges that refugees who trooped into the UK from around the world were facing, Grosvenor became one of the solutions for housing those refugees by building houses for low-income earners. Today, that dream inspired Grosvenor to birth SURFCENTER Limited in Nigeria, with the sole aim of providing or building affordable housing with the best quality. Meet the man behind the story and learn how you can buy from SURFCENTER and increase your real estate portfolio. I'm here today with Mr. Fola Babatunde. He is the founder of Grosvenor Gate Estate in the UK, which he founded in the early 90s. And he went further to start up SURFCENTER Limited, which he has birthed here in Nigeria. They have beautiful projects in 4 locations here in Abuja, and he's going to tell us all the story about how he started, why he's back home here, and why you should buy from SURFCENTER Limited. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Pleasure having you.
Yes. So basically your story is very interesting to me because of some of the things that you went through to start here in Nigeria, especially regarding the refugee, what do you call it, refugee arrival project in the UK. And you were in charge of housing immigrants that were coming into the UK from different parts of the world. And that inspired you to start up a low-income housing here in Nigeria. So how is the journey?
It's been good so far. Where you started from is my startup also in the UK, which is the refugee arrival project by the government of the United Kingdom, which was the influx of refugees into the country then. Yeah. And then one of the major things, those refugees must be provided with accommodation to stay in the country until their profile to stay finally. So that was my job. I had a call one day from the camp that the Heathrow, if I'm interested, and I said yes, I am interested. I said they'll be sending a few people on a regular basis to my office in London then. It was a welcome idea, and from there they got me very busy. Apart from the usual selling of properties and renting of properties, I have this particular project that I have to make sure I don't fail the institution then. And what happened was like the influx of refugees was sent to us, and we have also shortfall of houses in UK as well to be able to accommodate these people. And more also, most of the houses available there are either abandoned houses or mortgage not being attended to by owners of those. And so I went to the owners of this and took a lease out from them, renovated those houses, and start bringing in this kind of clientele basis that came new to me. And it was a good thing. And eventually I get paid for being able to provide these sort of services for the system, which is the immigration department, and also being able to make money out of that kind of project as well. And it kept me busy throughout my existence there. And going back in time, I decided to start thinking of coming back home.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if you're earning in pounds, why would you come to Nigeria and say, I want to start low-income houses?
You know, I'm a Yoruba man, and what they told me is somebody has put some juju on me to come back. And I said, if it's a juju with the level I'm here in Nigeria now, it's a good one. But having not to discard all of that, there are problems as well. Coming home to set up, you need land. From my finding is they're still using the Gazette for land, so there's no law guiding the law. So we look for land everywhere, and it has to be the one that has a good title on it that we need to be able to work with to be able to build, and if possible we need to do mortgages, those titles must be checked, and then every necessary instrument for the mortgage provider to be able to give you individually mortgage must be attended to. So eventually we started, our documents were vetted, and then one of the estates that we started with is where you are in at the moment, Grosvenor Gate Estate in Apo. We have another one in Orozo. We had an earlier start in the Army Estate also in Kurudu. And then we have a couple of lands that we're working on. We have another land in West, which will have approval to build 68 units. This one is over 200 units.
Wow, this is big.
It's a huge project here. So we're still working on this one. 90% of what we've done here is through mortgages. Very few on mortgage plan. I mean, payment plan, like I've said. So very few on payment plan. So it gave me joy that I'm able to give this service to people of the working class, not just anybody bringing money to you. It doesn't matter whether you're a driver, or a secretary, or the director on top. Everybody goes through mortgages. And when I first came in, the first interview I granted was, it was in the magazine, and I put the headline as mass housing prevent mass looting. So, and I'm sure the magazine was circulated all over there.
Yeah, I like that particular quote, mass housing prevents mass looting. Because before you say something about that, sir, I'd like to interrupt you a little. I remember when I started learning about you, I checked the prices of your houses, and I realized that honestly, not because you're sitting down here, the prices are very, very good. Your houses are affordable compared to what other people are charging here in the city of Abuja. And you also made mention of the fact that Nigerians don't want to start small. So I'm connecting you to what you just said now, because you are encouraging people who are just starting life to start with bungalows, one-bedroom apartments, and all of that. So maybe you should just tell us why you talk about that.
Yeah, that saying also goes with the fact that if you're a young man of maybe 25, 30, and then you gain unemployment in a civil service department or any other organization, and then you took out the mortgage for 20, 25 years, the repayment is 1/3 of your salary. And it doesn't take much from you to start savings as that early. By the time you're like 10 years, your salary must have increased. You must have had maybe a lot of, what do I call it now? Sort of allowances and increase in salary, over that time. Then you won't feel the impact of that deduction anymore. Now you have a house in your hand that is called, there's an equity. Initially people say, oh, equity is what I put down. No, that's not equity. Equity is the value of your house at a particular given time, which means when you bought it, maybe it was 9 million or 15 million naira. Then eventually, in another 5 years, that house is probably had value on it. That's probably worth about 15 or 20 million to you at that given time. So it's an encouragement for you as well, going into these early ventures. I've seen directors who are about retiring and still coming to me, oh, I have 5 years left, I want to. And your repayment is really huge. And it doesn't, and 4 years into your retirement, you can't get this particular facility anymore. Yeah, having said that, going back into our own estate, I'm sure if you take clips of our houses, you see that we copy where we came from, which is what you call British standards. From primary material to the other secondary material to the finishing material. They are standards, and the finishing is of good quality. And we've been rated as 1 to 10 in Abuja as we speak, even though we are not that known yet. So a lot of people came in. We have on our database over 200-300 people buying into our property, and like I said to you, about 70-90% of them is via mortgages. We have a loans board, which is the head of service, the government loans board, which has a premium interest, very low. We have the Federal Mortgage Bank as well, which also has a low premium interest rate. The commercial, yes, is not meant for us. well, this department, and then we also have family-owned funds too. They also have a premium, which is very low in terms of interest rate. So we encourage people to go to all these outlets,
the channels, yes.
all these outlets to be able to obtain mortgages, and our houses are there waiting for them to be assessed.
Because these people pay outrightly, then
yes,
they
and they're the repayment from the salaries. Yeah. So we encourage people to come to us. We also assist in assessing these mortgages too. Our houses are from 1-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and to duplexes and 4-bedroom houses. Convenient repayment plan also it's available. And when you look at what we do, we set the standard, and I'm not going to compromise that. I remember when the director from Federal Mortgage Bank came, I said, I came when you started this project, and I've been to the 50th unit of the house you've built here, and the quality is not the same. Are you saying you're keeping UK standard, or with time you compromise Nigeria standard? It's like you're going to bank to borrow money. And you go to the bank manager says, come 8 o'clock, I will give you loan. And you go there 10 o'clock, and over there, they will not give you that loan. Because they think when you come 10 o'clock, you're going to be late in repaying that loan. So time is material, and it's major in everything you do. There's a time to start a project, and there's time to get it ended. And that's why you have deficit in houses, because people just built and left it unattended. And by the time they came back to it, the prices are skyrocketed. So we try and manage with the increase in cost of material, even though it's not really friendly to everybody. We try and manage the price of material with our client income as well. And we hope this play out well for everybody.
Okay, definitely I'm going to be putting the prices so that you don't think we're just saying it. So on the screen you have the prices, the current prices of this property and this house on the screen. So you look out for them so that you can contact and buy directly from the company, pay directly to the company, especially those of our brothers in diaspora.
Yes, we do that.
I know a lot of them call me once in a while and say, okay, I would like to buy. Where should I buy from? So if you're in the diaspora, you can see you're not paying your money to anybody's hand. You're paying directly to the company. So you can look at it, look it up, and make your payments so you can have a house in Abuja and stop sleeping in hotels when you come to town. So what do you think government can do? Because the path you've taken is not the luxury houses. I know, even though in the future I know you'll be looking at that, but your interest right now is in just getting people to own homes and live in them. What can the government do to help make your work easier?
I think they've created the institution that assists individuals, but lack of information to this individual is a problem. Number two, people that are aware of this mortgage institution, they also think it's the benefit of democracy as well in democratic settings. That, if I go to Federal Mortgage Bank or but they will just give me the key to the house. If I don't pay back, that's a concern. And that is in the part of the people buying. Like I said, those facilities are there. Some of them are even from the sovereign wealth fund that are given to the housing industry, the mortgage industry, to be able to avail. And the new one that comes up now is also the PENCOM 25% of your earnings over time that you can access to be, even though it's an idea that is created. Whether it works or not, we also will work with the government. And time to time, town hall meeting with the government institution and mortgage industry and individual also will provide an enabling environment for us to know the way forward. I was told at some point in time the shortfall in the housing industry is about 17 million of people looking. And I remember in the past we have presidents who have said, look, I'm going to create 5,000 houses in the 36 states. I don't think that sees the light of the day. But the reason being, the project is huge. It's humongous. It takes a lot of money from the system. But private property developer and people with money should also contribute into that fund so that people can access it. And you create a housing stock. By creating housing stock, you make privilege for a stock NSC stock department to be able to create a stock on housing.
Yeah.
Now, even if you fail to pay your mortgage, and I will say it, this is on that if you don't pay your mortgage, your house is at risk.
Yeah.
So if that is created in the mindset of mortgage owners, then mortgage individual who buy into the mortgage, they know that the house could be sold and put it back in the market and resold to somebody who is looking for a house.
Wow.
So it's not just overnight thing, and it's been there. But also everybody has to play their part. We also need to play a part. We also need the government to look into the cost of raw material, whether generated locally or imported, to be made available to be made available for us to be able to access.
Absolutely.
You know, so that will also bring down the price of the houses. Also on the side of developer, because even when we try to stop mortgages, we find out that a lot of developers have also gone into the thing and they've defaulted. And some of us coming up into the industry have it really hard to be able to access these low price facilities for us to build houses at it. So my appeal to government is to look into some of us that are really coming in or trying to do well, to be assisted one way or the other. I mean,
what about those who do not, the ones that you don't, government work, okay, we have government workers who are benefiting. What about those who are not working for government, who do not have like a salary, they're business owners?
That they can also access mortgages. I mean, I remember with the Federal Mortgage Bank, unlike other ones, you are asked to make a contribution, a 6-month contribution into the fund, and then that gives you the access to be able to go into that mortgage through the Federal Mortgage Bank. Even though there's a lot of slowdown in the industry, we've been in it. I mean, some of these loans take 2 to 3 years to be assessed. It doesn't help us. Because if we get the mortgage in 2 years, the cost of material and the cost of not getting that money even if the house is built, the value of that house is being depleted. And then it created the bottleneck between you and the buyers of those houses. Oh, but you told me you're not going to increase the price. You told me you have to be there for me. And at the end of 2 years, what do? Wait. So we need also to reduce the length of time this money is paid to few individuals.
So if it's on the side of, sorry, I'm interested in this now. On the side, what lessons have you learned from the refugee arrival project that you can advise government to introduce as regards, because we have refugees, internal refugees, as regard because of the issues with banditry, you know, the Boko Haram insurgency and all of that. What do you think they can do to give these people a home? Because these are the people you see in the shanties, and over time crime develop as a result of the hardship they're experiencing. Do you think that they can do something very, very cheap, affordable housing somewhere where like you have control, you know who is living there, they're properly registered?
I'm glad you mentioned shanties. I remember when I first time came in, I was on television and I mentioned the shanties. Okay, we have what we call river banks, where you can actually reconstruct the river banks to be able to put houses there. And say, look, you have to excise some part of. But once you channel the river bank, you create one thing, a traveling route for people using small boats and excursion for children. So that same bank you've created, you can still put houses on them, and then you can now look into this kind of people and make a reasonable block of flats, you know, and elsewhere, not internally. I mean, around me I have shanties too, and it's difficult to say leave. So this is where government comes in. It's creating another area where it's not yet developed. Create small infrastructures, small road network, electricity and water, and then you can migrate. Let them migrate to those areas, and then you can now create a city environment that you need in the city center. We have both shanties in the city center, especially in Abuja. Same in Lagos too, and maybe a few other areas I've been to. it's important to understand that you want the city to grow, it has to be between the government and the developers.
Yeah.
I remember Prince Charles said at the time that, oh, you engineers, why are you doing in my country? We still have the same old style of, and they charge him. They say, sir, give us the go ahead. And then what you have, you Billingsgate, who used to be that old area, Liverpool Street, who used to be that old setting, skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And then the livelihood of that city center spans up
and begins to boom into something.
Each time I go in there, I just go down to the bottom of it and I'll look up and say, oh, these are skyscrapers properties here. And you know, it created a city livelihood in there. And most people now leave the city to the sub areas, and then that area also starts creating wealth in them. You know, you don't ask chances and they're living low, and you have rich people living interjecting into their lifestyle too, and they feel offended. And the refugee camps you mentioned also, it was the government that created that for us to be able to accommodate these people. So it takes government not to look into refugee as they are displaced people. They're probably rich in their own way where they are displaced from. They have a lifestyle. You can't just cram them into a refugee camp and think it's the way forward. You've got to profile them and give them befitting and charge us, pay us to build houses for them. And we'll get busy too. It will make small money. It doesn't have to be big. So
I hope they are listening and they'll do something about it.
At some point.
Yes. To buy SURFCENTER, you have all the information. You can call us and get to know more information about SURFCENTER. And especially if you're interested in 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, semi-detached bungalow and duplexes with BQ in Orozo, Womba, Gwarimpa and Lagos. So you make sure that you contact SURFCENTER, and before you know it, you are a homeowner. Thank you and see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to all our channels, especially on YouTube. Like, ring that bell so that you can have notification and also subscribe. Thank you and God bless you.